Hey, First United Methodist family, it's Pastor Shannon here with our weekly update for June 20th. I missed getting a weekly update out last week. I was still coming back into town from annual conference, and I wanted to say a special thank you to those who led in my absence the previous Sunday. So thank you to Brad and to Christy, to Marvin and to Mary for leading. I was so glad to be back in worship with you all this past Sunday, especially as we started our brand new sermon series, Bible Stories for Grown-Ups. So on Sunday, we talked about one of the most famous Bible stories of all time, and of course that is the creation story as found in Genesis chapter 1. But did you know there's actually two different creation accounts in Genesis? It's true. If you were to open up your Bible and read beginning in Genesis 2 verse 4, you'll read this. This is the account of the heavens and the earth and when they were created. And on that day, the Lord made earth and sky. And so you might be reading that and saying, wait, didn't we just read this in Genesis chapter 1? Am I having deja vu? And then to complicate things even further, these two creation stories, the one in Genesis 1 and the one in Genesis 2, they have some really important differences. For example, the order of creation is different in these two accounts. In Genesis 1, God created humans last as the final pinnacle or culmination of all of creation. But if you look at Genesis 2, we read that humans were created first, before plants, before animals, before anything else. And when God made humans, God formed Adam first out of the dust of the ground and then formed Eve out of one of Adam's ribs. So what's going on here? Why do we have these two different and even contradictory creation stories? Well, as Peter Enns and Jared Bias write in their book, Genesis for Normal People, which is an excellent book, I'd highly recommend it, they write that Genesis 2 is not another version of the creation of the cosmos. Rather, it shifts the focus of the story. In other words, it provides us with a different perspective on God and God's creative actions. Now, in Genesis 1, we saw that God was a master chaos tamer, someone who is an almighty creator, someone who is sort of distant and powerful, able to create with just words, by just speaking. But then in Genesis 2, we have a different picture of God. We see God as a master gardener, as someone who gets down on the ground, who forms humans out of dust and clay, who breathes life into them. We see God as someone who isn't afraid to get their hands a little dirty. And this picture of God is someone who is very personal and directly involved in our lives. So we might ask ourselves, well, which one is the right creation story? Which one is what really happened? And I'd say, well, they both are. They each show different aspects of our Creator God, as both powerful but also personal, as both the tamer of chaos, but also as the giver of breath and life. So I look forward to exploring the story of Noah with you all next week. This weekend, we'll also be having our booth up at the Excelsior Springs Water Fest, and we'll have a misting tent. We'll be passing out bottled water. So I invite you all to stop by and say hi. On Saturday morning, June 24th at 10 a.m., we'll also be celebrating the life of Jerry Lemons. So I invite you to attend that as well. I hope you all have a great week until this weekend, and I look forward to seeing you then.